connection tips and tricks. Today's training will be based on telephone communication. So what's a telephone communication? A telephone communication is where you document the following: provider instructions, notes for others to view, send tasks to coordinators for referrals, diagnostics and referrals, follow-up assistance. You may also send tasks to the front desk to make new appointments and reschedule avoid missed appointments. And again, telephone communication is a little bit more than these 3 bullets. I mean, again, it's anything that you want to document in regards to, you know, patient care or for your case. I mean, any information that you want it to be visible for this patient and this patient chart, and you want other staff to view and to be aware of. So again, telephone communication can be this, and you know, it's more of a means of communication, and at the same time, you know, a way to flag certain information in the patient's chart as well. Where do you find telephone communication? So there is a couple of ways where you could find the telephone communication. This is just going over the steps. One, you can open an encounter for the day you want to document this telephone communication, and just by selecting new, and then going to the template icon down here in the patient history. And don't worry, I will demonstrate a demonstration at the end of this presentation so that you guys know how to navigate telephone communication. Can you hear me better now? Sorry, can you guys hear me better? Cool.
All right, that's fine.
Perfect. So again, there's a couple ways you could access the telephone communication. The first one would be to create a new encounter. Go to the template, select telephone call, and then you'll find the telephone call template there with making sure that it's either family practice, patient communication. And again, I'll go over all this as soon as we're done with the presentation. But once you click new, highlight the date you are documenting on and click on the template icons on the bottom right corner. Do not unlock both previous encounters. This is very important. You always want to make sure you document a fresh telephone communication. Do not use telephone calls for phone visits, continues, and intake. This really doesn't really apply to you. It's more for like providers or residents. Telephone call is not intended for phone visits. Again, really not intended for you guys. It's more just a reminder for the providers. Once the telephone template icon opens, select telephone call, select specialty, family practice, select visit type, patient communication, and then go to the telephone call tab. And again, I will go ahead and demonstrate this in a demo at the end of the presentation. How to document telephone communication. Under documentation, select other hyperlink. The telephone template will open, fill out contact type, check off if you spoke with patient. If not, leave unchecked. Start documentation on the communication comment. If you want to send actions to coordinators from desk, you may do so in the actions checklist. When done, press and send and close. If you are sending communication to coordinator from desk or any of the staff in particular, it could be a communication amongst yourselves. Again, this is, again, it could be different staff members. It doesn't have to be coordinators front desk. I mean, it could be amongst yourselves. A task group can be created for you guys, and then you guys can receive inbound communications or vice versa. If you're not sending communication, just click on save and close. See the next page, for example. So this is the more, I guess, how it would look. So once you select the contact type, you could click on here. You can select from the picket list. You could freehand type your contact type. Whenever you guys are speaking to a patient, you guys can also document that. And then here in the field, you guys can write in any information that you may think is important to be documented in the chart. You guys can also use the action section here, where you guys can check off certain things to notify the person you are sending this communication to, or the information you want it to be reflected on the chart. Here, once you're done, just select Send and Close. Another window will appear, and we call that the tasking window, where you're able to select the individual or the tasking group you want to send this communication to. Once you're done, just say Save and Close. There is one last step at the end. At the end of that particular template, you scroll down and you hit Preview Document, and the document will be generated with all the information you inputted in the template. So then it will look like this, along with the particular communication detail for that particular communication. Any questions? Feel free to reach out to the EMR trainers. We are available via extension 7736 and also at 7734, Levine 7961, and Coleman 7431. Do you guys have any questions? I just heard somebody joining again. I could definitely go over this again. What I'm going to do right now is I am going to do a demonstration with a testing patient here next gen, so that you guys can see how a telephone communication is documented in NextGen.
I just wanted to say that it did help last time doing it with him, just like as a practice on my own screen. So maybe if you guys want to open it up and do it with him, so that you guys can get the feel of it, and maybe ask questions if you have any. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, definitely. You guys can definitely open up NextGen, and then as I walk you through this presentation or demonstration, you guys can definitely practice.
This is Linda. Thank you, Abnel. I just
Yeah, you're
wanted
welcome.
to.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I do want to let the group know that this is an overview, so you guys can kind of get an understanding of where we're heading. But I also feel like we're probably gonna, if Abdel, if it's possible to actually get like a hands-on training and do test dummies with one of you guys, so that we can actually like do a live training.
Yeah, I will recommend reach out to Donna first, and then say, hey, is there a way where some of the EMR trainers can schedule in person with my team, and then we could definitely do that, and then we could definitely start scheduling this. It could be. I do recommend maybe after the upgrade, because the upgrade is coming up in about a week or so on the October 19th. So maybe we could start scheduling in-person training so that you guys can, we could definitely show you guys how to document a telephone communication in person and answer any questions you guys may have at the time of that in-person training.
Thank you. And then this,
so
Abnel, there's a pop quiz at the end, right? So feel free to pick on anybody on the screen.
I definitely will. So this is a good testing patient. We already have a current scenario. I know I mentioned in the presentation that, hey, you always want to make sure you create your encounter when you're documenting a telephone communication. You never want to open an encounter, but sometimes when you open a patient, you'll see this. You'll see that 10-6 encounter was there for behavioral health. Another 10-6 encounter was done, which made it look like like a clinic appointment, and then you have another behavioral health appointment that was done on the 7th, and they're all unlocked encounters. So my question to you guys is, and then there's one for today. So my question for you guys is, what would you guys think is the best thing? To document in one of the old encounters, use the most recent encounter that was open, or do we create your own encounter?
I think at this juncture, we're not 100% settled at what our internal process would be. So.
Okay, perfect. With that particular answer, then I would recommend is always open a new encounter that reflects. I'm not sure if rendering provider will be created for you guys so that it reflects that this is a health insurance enrollment telephone communication. So if you do, just go ahead and do you, say yes, go to the template icon here, select the telephone call, select template, select OK.
Hold on, you're going too fast.
So once you create your new encounter, you want to make sure since all these encounters are open, it will pull the most recent specialty. So you want to make sure that this always says family practice, and there's the communication will always say patient communication. Why? Because you guys are just documenting a telephone communication, and you guys were either calling the patient, you guys received the incoming call, or you just want to document certain information. For example, let's go ahead and document, hey, you guys just finished talking to a patient and you guys collected new information on you. New information is going to help this patient receive, insurance. So contact type will be incoming call. Did you speak with the patient? Yes. I mean, you guys could go ahead and document the patient's name. And then in the comments, you guys can always, give a little story of what you guys talked about, spoke with patient provided new information, insurance process pending, or waiting on forms. I mean, I don't know. Help me out here, guys. I don't know exactly what the page of the client will tell you guys.
Good. I mean, we do it all, man.
So then, once you guys have that information, I mean, from here, you guys can always say like, hey, I want to make sure the rest of the team knows that they already spoke to this patient, or already took care of this. You guys can then go ahead and select send and close. From here, you guys can do select the particular individual from that group, or if you guys have a tasking group, I'm not sure if you guys have one. You guys don't, I mean, but you guys can always
sorry. We do have a tasking group. It's currently on it's been muted.
Oh, okay, it's been muted. Okay. But say for instance, you guys have that tasking group, or if you guys just want to do a particular, just go ahead and select the person. You see this vanilla folder here? If you click on it, it will add this person as your favorites. So you guys don't have to keep searching. Once you guys do that, just hit add and then okay. And then this person will also receive this communication via a clinical task. And the clinical task is different. A telephone communication is something you want to document, and you want to document and have in the patient's chart. A clinical task is more of like a backdoor channel communication, kind of like a DM. If the best way I could describe this is like a DM way, where you're any information.
What's a DM for us who are not?
Like a direct message kind of thing. So,
this is not being recorded, is it?
It is.
It is. I mean, I'll probably stop recording in a bit after I'm done presenting. But once, so I just want to make sure that you guys know the difference between the clinical task and telephone communication, because say for instance you guys are doing these, you start doing these, and then, hey, I replied to your message within a clinical task, but it didn't register in the communication. Then you guys will know why, because it was kind of like it was done through the back channel of like NextGen. And I could go over that as well if you guys want. Let me go ahead and stop the recording here.